Hello students, I hope you will be doing good. I hope you will be doing fine. This is our first lecture of English literature. In this lecture, we will cover two things. One portion of the lecture will be about the history of English as a language as well as the history of English people. The second portion of my lecture will be about the history of modern literature, which starts from the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th century, which is also renowned for the name of Chaucer. It is also called Chaucerian age. So for the students of literature, first of all, let me make them capable, let me make them aware that literature is the impulse of your mind and heart. This is the study of feelings. This is the charisma of imagination. This is the maneuvering of your thoughts. This is the pulsation of your soul. This is the miracle of tears. This is the sweetness of pains. This is the amelioration of the experiences. This is the inculcation of intellect. Literature is the profundity of your own being. Literature makes you capable of learn how things around you work. Literature is a water that extinguishes the fire of crude thinking, biased thinking. Literature is an aesthetic view of the dawn. Literature is the sweet voice of the cuckoo. Literature, above all, is the world of beauty. It is the world of aestheticism. Coming to the history of English language, I would like to tell my students that most of the students might not be aware of where do these alphabets come from. Where did these English language alphabets come from? So for your particular information, I would like to tell that the country which is called Germany today, centuries ago, even before Christ, this land we call Germany today consisted of more than 100 tribes. All these tribes were speaking various languages. There was no any language called English. The English people who are today the people of Britain, I'm going to tell you where did they come from. So this land where I told that which is called Germany today, more than 100 tribes with different languages, with different modus operandi, with different lifestyle, with different hierarchy, with different nomadic culture, with different living standards, with different ways of winning bread and butter, with different ways of communication and interaction with the other, had been surviving and flourishing. So three tribes named as Jutes, Angles, and Saxons. These three tribes wanted to go away from the land that today is called Germany. It might be for the cruelty and suppression of the regime of that time. It might be for the injustices or some kind of pogrom or hooliganism which was played by the nomadic chieftains at that time of the then culture of the then tribes. Whatsoever the cause was, all these three tribes wanted to go away from the land that I mentioned. They sailed out of Germany. They started to sail and went on sailing in the sea for more than a year. When they started their voyage, they were more than 2,000. After months and months of voyage in the sea, they reached a land where they established their own government, where they established their own regime. And that land where they landed is the land of Britain today. So they established their own system of living. They started to prosper. They started to flourish. They started to interact with the people of the other frontiers. They started to trade. They started to interact with the people on the basis of culture. The language they started to communicate the other people with is the language that we call English today. That is why the language we call English today, Anglo-Saxon, is derived from the nomenclature, from the same word, which is given and derived and which is commemorated on the names of those tribes, Angles, Saxons and Jutes. So these were basically the primary people. These were the very first people who set their feet on the land which is called Britain today. And the language which they did speak was the language which we call English today. Although it has been going through various changes, various reforming policies and various other things have been reformed and edited and changed in the English language by the passage of time, but the language that we are speaking is the same that was spoken in the then area which I told. This is a small introduction of where the English people came from and where did the English language come from and who were these people who started communicating with the world, with the people all around them in the language English. Coming to the age of Chaucer, this was the age where Christianity was at its peak. The politics, professions, the business, the living, the thoughts, the journeys, each and everything of that time actually was rooted deep into the religion Christianity. So that age was the age of irony. That age was the age of conflict between the slogans and the deeds. That age was the age of breach of the oaths of the theology-oriented people, theocracy-oriented people. So I would like to tell you that the age of Chaucer is called modern age because this age started to tell the people what they were lacking in. The scars and the bruises of leprosy which were on the faces of the people in the form of evil deeds. Chaucer started to tell the story of Reformation. The topic of that age was what the thing is and what it ought to be. What the things were, what they ought to be. So as for the living of the people, the living of the people of that time was based on land. The people of that time were agrarian. They were basing their life on agriculture and trade. So in this way, Chaucer took the stand and became the advocate of the society, and he made the people aware that the thing which has been going on for ages and ages in the wrong way in the name of religion is actually infatuation. The religious reverence, the religious obeisance, the religious gratefulness to the people of superior class was merely an illusion, and the caliber of the people actually was zero. So this is a brief outlook of the age of Chaucer. We will discuss in detail the things later on. This is our first lecture. After this, we will continue discussing various genres, various ages, and various other great people who took the stand to show the mirror to the people. Hopefully you liked the video. Thank you.